are they having some of the most fun they've had with this show when it's not going to be on anymore?
Right? Also, I'm gonna be super pissed if we don't get any follow up from this episode because Marvel apparently hates the Eternals.
Yeah. I don't know. They're having the times of their lives with this. This episode was so stupid. It was so dumb. There was bordering on no point to it. They were just
That's exactly why I loved it. Actually,
yeah. It's just here. It knows it is, and it was just happening. And they were having the time of their lives while doing it. Uh, See, I did not think for a second we were going to get of any of the Eternals it was going to be Kingo, but then I thought to myself, I'm like, probably the one you were going to get to come in and voice something because Madden's not doing it. You ain't getting Jolie to do it. Like after a while, that made sense.
yeah. Unfortunately, like
And
no disrespect to Kumail Nanjiani. He's great,
no,
and he's also great in this episode.
he is. And
But
I don't care if this is a controversial take, but I I had a better time, and I feel that she had a more resolute and better story in this than she did in the entirety of Agatha all along.
wow, that is a hot take.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This was more tight knit. This was better written. It sounded like she was genuinely having the time of her life, and at every moment, the plot consistently made sense.
This is one of those story ideas that I didn't think I needed, but I'm so glad I saw.
I never would have thought of it. I could tell you it all right now that she's going to go to Hollywood to try and pick up an incantation to steal power from the Celestial and the Earth. And then they would have had a 80s show tune versus Bollywood dance off while Kingo's trying to kill her. Like Jarvis as the AD, freaking Stark as the director.
That's another thing I have liked about What If. They find creative ways to bring back Howard Stark.
Yeah, it's just so good. Everything that they've been doing with this. And the animation quality of all of it, again, with What If, it's normally is really good. This is just, again, very, very good. And having an actual, just like, the cuts to different things showing off, like having Agatha stealing their powers and showing off some other stuff in there. Um, the just at, it had a very good structure to it too. Like the other ones just kind of like go along, clip through a thing, and then done. This one was a very well structured out more than most of these that they do. Cause give or take, it was a what if idea, but it was a very tight knit, small what if idea.
Yeah, like they knew kind of exactly the story they wanted to tell, but also left it open ended enough, just like the first Eternals movie.
And I have a feeling that it's going to come back somehow at the end because again, I got spoiled for some stuff that comes at the end. And whenever the watcher actively sees something, typically in these shows, it gets complimented on, or I should say, continued off of. So I'm gonna guess it has something to do with the Celestials at the very end. I don't know, but we'll see. But even if it's just a funny haha cliffhanger, that's good too.
All I know is I'm just kind of glad we have that third act because it goes really hard.
Oh, it absolutely does. They're really good at the particle effects. The 3D animation really shines here. Yeah, it's great.
The
This
best looking animation on these what ifs are whenever they get to play around with light.
yeah, what do I want to say? Vapid, like really intense color
Yep.
is where it shows off to the what they can do with colors in this animation style is just nuts. So yeah, and like the light when she turns into her version of the celestial is just, oh, it's so good. And I love how they show that Kingo takes a deal based off of this, but also Kingo talks down Agatha just based on the magic of the movies. Like, I won't do this. Like, and I'll give you a 3 picture deal. Fine. But then at the end, he's also, you could, instead of ruling over people, you could just have them adore you instead. It's like, think about your ego, though. You can just keep being a star.
It is a great closing monologue, and he delivers it so perfectly.
He does.
I can see I can see like somewhere in the future that like that being part of like a bunch of different montages about like the magic of the movies.
Yeah, and I will say my legitimate only complaint was at the start of his monologue. I could tell that what he was doing, how do I want to say this? How he was speaking, I could tell it was words written off of a script that he was reading off of versus a character saying lines in a thing. Do you know how I could tell?
How?
His patterns of how he took breaths before statements.
Oh, that's when you can kind of tell the difference between like a seasoned professional voice actor and someone who's more known for on-camera work.
Yeah, because after he got into it, there was a couple of statements where he would just finish taking off and then keep talking because he was catching his breath to say the rest of the lines. I'm like, that's where you stop, and then editing comes in, and you do the rest of it. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. And it's the only gripe that I legitimately have with Nickelback at times when I'm listening to recorded in studio tracks and I can hear them taking the breaths before each and every line they do in a song. Like, you're recording these vocals in house. You can edit the breaths out. Like, if you're taking them in concert, that's perfectly fine. But this is your master copy of what this song sounds like. I don't need to hear a big before you start spitting lyrics out. But yeah, that was my legit only complaint, and he only did it like once or twice. It was like he's not used to voice acting, and I could tell. But again, that's the difference between seasoned voice actors and not seasoned voice actors. But no, besides that, he was fantastic. His inflection on his lines were good. That was legit my only complaint.
And Catherine Hahn just is having the time of her life.
Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say when I like her total probably 20 minutes in this, because I don't know what was hitting different with this, but she was at 13 this entire freaking episode. But yeah, that's all I got. I am excited and ready for the next one. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely, and you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're into cosplay and conventions and such, you can follow me on my Instagram, also at Organoid Zero. Until next time, we will see you all later. Bye!